Hello, in this video I will be showing you how you can set up a FileSite integration with our viDesktop system. So a FileSite is a document management system that is used in work allocation and recruiting process so that you can upload a document uh, directly to FileSite. And how it works, it's like it's using a pointer, a FileSite pointer, and stores that in viDesktop so that you can access those files and documents directly from viDesktop, work allocation and recruit. So how you will set that up is you need to set that up from the configuration here. And under system settings, you see system config. This is where you'll go. And in order to make it easier, you might want to filter on document management. I'll show you in a bit once this finishes loading. So under category here, just click on filter for category and then go to document management. This is the area where you can set up the FileSite integration with viDesktop. So specifically, so there are a few parameters here that we have to update and that we have to make sure that they're set up properly. So the first one is that in most common cases for FileSite integration, you would have to use a file extension .nrl. So it's this one here. So it's usually by default when you have viDesktop installed, you'll see this already defaulted to NRL. So the rest really are just aliases that you'll see. Sorry, not the rest, but some of them here, for example, are aliases for what you will see in the work allocation and recruit when you try to add a file site pointer. So this is just a value that you can change, and it's more for your user and to make it easier for your user to understand what things are about. I'll go a bit deeper on this one specifically for the libraries. So again, .nrl is the first one. You then do need to get the template of the NRL file, of the pointer file. How you'll get this, the easiest way is really to just to download a file itself from FileSite, and from that files from that pointer, then you'll be able to get the exact you'll be able to get the exact format of the template that you need to create. So once basically one, get the file pointer site from the file site itself, or alternatively, you can also talk to a file site administrator who should be able to tell you what kind of format it expects. But again, the best way is to get the actual pointer by downloading it from file site itself. There should be a way to get that pointer file from file site itself. So talk to someone who understands file site and very likely the file site admin itself. Once you get that file, just click on update. Now this part is important. What you need to do is, because there are likely some hidden characters in file site configuration itself, what you need to do is you need to get the once you get the pointer file downloaded directly from the file site itself, you need to copy and paste that into here. Once you copy and paste it, again, then it's going to come in with an actual server name, session name, database name, and document number. What you do then is you replace that actual server name and replace it with the tag here. So here, let me give you an example. So it would have come in with this actual server name, actual session name, actual database name, and actual doc number. So what you need to do, so this is what it would look like if I got the pointer file from FileSite. I would copy and paste it here directly, and then I would replace this actual names with the template tags. So server name, session name, database name, and document number. Again, this is very important. It's a we've seen this case a couple of times where even though if you were to type it in directly instead of copy and pasting it from an actual pointer file, that it will not work. I had a session earlier this morning with a client, and it just did not work, even though it's the exact same character by character when you see it with your eyes. But um, you do need to copy and paste it directly from the actual pointer file. Once you do that, you can click update. In this case, I'm not going to click update. I'm just going to cancel out. I just didn't want to change anything here. But once you do that, you need to update and click reload system variables. So from that information in the original pointer file, you can also get these three information that are very important: the server name, the session name, and the database name. Again, you'll get that information from that original pointer file that you would have gotten from the file site itself. Or again, alternatively, you can also ask a file site admin or a file site technician to get that information. Very simple. Click update, update the server with the actual server name, um, and update the session name and then the database name. One thing to note here is that for the server and the session name, if you leave it blank, so if you leave this blank, what's going to happen is just look at the description here. It actually tells you that if you use an empty string, then viDesktop is going to assume that the server name is the same as the database name. So let's say I change this to DB1, for example. Then when we create the pointer file, the NRL file, it's going to use DB1 as the server name. It's going to think that the server name itself is called DB1. And let's say if you change that to my database like this, then it's going to assume that the server name is also called my database. Only if you leave it blank. Same thing for the session here. If you use an empty string for the session name, viDesktop is going to assume that the session name is the same as the database name. So it's also going to be my database in this case. Slightly different for database. If you leave the database connection to empty, so as an empty string, then it really is just a default, and they would have to actually type it in themselves. I'll show you that later. So I'll just put this back to what it was. Now, lastly, again, these are really just aliases that you can use that will show when you log into Work Allocation or Recruit and when you try to add a pointer document. So you can change this again by clicking Update, changing this to whatever you want, and click Update. So once you're done, as always, it's also important to always click Reload System Variables to make sure that those variables that you changed are now loaded to the system, to viDesktop system. So that concludes this video. In my next video, I'll show you how this is used within Work Allocation and Recruit. Thank you.